Last time in Barcelona, we did it in the W Hotel at the beach. 500 people. Everybody was on the beach, right? I was there too. 2018, we have exciting Atlassian planned for you. In fact, we have 3 tracks and 42 sessions. And we have lots of Atlassians here who are excited and have prepared a lot. We did something slightly different this time. We invited not just Atlassians to plan the event, we also extended it to the community. And I'd love to give a big shout out to the developer experience team, along with Daniel Wester and Dan Hardiker from the community. They worked hard to make sure that the content is relevant for you and exciting. Thank you. We have something different this time, something new. It's called the Fire Pit. There was an ask to make Atlas Camp just like how it was in 2008 or 2013, smaller, more cozier, and we brought back using Fire Pit. And the way we did it was we have these rooms where it's arranged in circles, and it's unconference style. It's only 40 people, so you need to register soon. And it's open company, no bullshit. Everything that Atlassians know, you can know. But there's a catch. You need to sign an NDA before you go in. So hope you all enjoy the Fire Pit. It's new, and I'm sure you can learn a lot. We also have something new based on your feedback. We have the DevHelp Live booth outside. And the goal here is to make sure that you talk to the right Atlassians. We've always had one-on-ones with Atlassians. This time it's a bit better. You can figure out who the right Atlassians are, and we log it in a ticket so that it doesn't end here. After you finish Atlas Camp, you can continue the discussion even further. That's awesome. Tomorrow, there's a coffee chat. You can come there to ask any question, AMA style, from me, Geoff Redfern, who's the VP of Product, and Adrian Ludwig, who is our new CISO. Make sure you ask them hard questions. Atlassian has a big mission. Atlassian's mission is to unleash potential of every team. We build a set of products, but customers need a whole lot more. That's where you all come in. The apps that you build are essential for our customers. They depend on you. For that, I'd like to thank you for being part of such an amazing ecosystem. Let's give yourself a big round of applause. Our customers use it in various different ways. And let me give you a very specific example of a customer using marketplace apps. Domino's. How many of you have had Domino's pizzas? Yeah, all of you. Domino's is a technology company pretending to be a pizza company. Apparently, there are 34 million ways of customizing a pizza. Did you know that? And they have more than 60% of their sales coming from their digital channels. That's pretty impressive. Not only did they pioneer the pizza tracker, they also improved and built best-in-class DevOps practices by linking DevOps and security using Jira, Confluence, marketplace apps, and also their custom-built applications using Connect API. By bringing development practices and security together, they deliver more than 1 million pizzas every single day. Customers like Domino's and thousands more are leveraging Marketplace. And Atlassian has grown over the last 10 years. And with that so has the ecosystem. And over the years, we have become so big that we have scale. When I say scale, here's what I mean. 70 million REST API calls per day, just for Jira. If you add Confluence and all the other products that we have, it's north of 100 million. That's pretty impressive. We launched the Marketplace in 2012, and just in the 6 years, Marketplace has generated more than $500 million in sales. That's a huge number. All right, question for you. Let's see if you guys are awake. In the last year, guess how much sales Atlassian, the Marketplace, has generated in the last year, just in the last year alone? Shout out some numbers. 50 million. 100 million. 55 million. 200 million. That's pretty impressive in just 1 year. What this shows is Marketplace is at scale and is accelerating. That's impressive. Right. Every year, we recognize individuals who have gone far beyond the expectations of the community. We have the Top Ambassador, Community Ambassador Award, and the Lifetime Achievement Awards. Give me a drum roll for the winners. And the winners are Martin Arts and Daniel Wester. Please stand up. Thank you from Atlassian, from all the developers here for your amazing contribution. Thank you. Today we'll cover multiple things. We'll cover Marketplace, server and data center, and cloud, and how we are setting up these three for operating at scale. First, let's talk about Marketplace. And for that, let me invite Brendan and Alex on stage. Come on, Brendan.
All right. Thanks, Shri. So as Shri mentioned, our Marketplace continues to grow rapidly. And even better than that, it's really awesome to see the impact that you, our developer community, are having every day on the success of customers. Shri gave a good example for Domino's, but let's take a look at another example. Twilio is a global API platform for voice and messaging, and they've taken the world by storm. In the last 3 years, they've tripled in size. Now, we all know how hard it is to scale at that sort of rate without the wheels completely flying off the bus. To help them scale, Twilio built their own apps on Jira and Confluence to create a single source of truth to get distributed teams together on the same page. And they've used several apps from our marketplace, from your marketplace, Draw.io, Zephyr, and Team Calendars to help them do this. We're really proud to have Twilio as a customer, but we're even more proud of you, our developer community, for having helped customers like Twilio to scale. So then let's take a moment to recognize some of our vendors and partners who help make customer successes like this possible. We'd like to congratulate our Atlassian Marketplace Vendor of the Year award winners. First, Gebson Support for Best New Vendor. Yeah, let's give them a round of applause. Harvest Time Tracking by 42nd for fastest cloud growth since launching their cloud app over the last 12 months. And last but not least, Envision for Confluence for fastest growth for a SaaS partner. So thank you for all you do and for all the contributions that you've made, and this award is well deserved. All right. Let's now talk about the investments that we're making in Marketplace. in the user experience, in the programs we offer to our partners and vendors, and in customer trust.
We're taking steps to update the in-product marketplace, starting with Jira Cloud and Confluence Cloud, to make it easier for site administrators and end users to find the apps to help get their jobs done. Excuse me. This is the current in-product marketplace. I'm super excited to announce that we've updated the UI to the latest in Atlassian design standards, and this new in-product marketplace experience is coming soon to a Jira or Confluence Cloud instance near you. But we haven't just updated the UI. We're also exploring new entry point locations to improve discoverability. Today, we are testing a new entry point location in this navigation menu. This location allows admins to navigate to the in-product marketplace from anywhere else in product. Oh, and we're not just thinking about a single entry point. We want to get app discovery closer to where the user is in the context of their work. Here's an example of an additional entry point location that's coming soon to Jira Cloud.
And that's just the beginning. Over the coming months, we'll continue to make additional improvements in the in-product marketplace experience for Jira Cloud and Confluence Cloud. These include things like end-user empowerment. It starts with providing end users with access to the in-product marketplace and enabling them to signal their demand for apps to site administrators, who can then make decisions around installation and purchase. Contextual notifications for end users and admins in their Atlassian cloud product experience to let them know about apps that can help make it easier for them to get their jobs done. And beyond Jira Cloud and Confluence Cloud, we plan to roll out the new in-product marketplace experience to other Atlassian products. All right, now that we've talked about marketplace, let's discuss investments that we're making in programs for our partners and vendors to help you build your business. We owe all of our success to you, and we're committed to ensuring that we grow together. App vendors have told us they want us to reward solution partners fairly for the effort that they make in selling our apps, your apps, excuse me. So we've aligned partner discounts to better match our own discount structure, rewarding our top partners for the success that they've earned. So instead of 20% discounts across the board, the solution partner discounts are now 5 to 20%, depending on partner type, whether you're silver, gold, or platinum. Now, if you've been hesitant as an app vendor about opting into partner discounts in the past, now's really the time to reconsider and opt in. We're also evolving our programs for vendors. We have a brand new top vendor program which rewards vendors who are most committed to cloud and highest performing in our marketplace. There's a lot of great benefits in this program, and they include things like first access to all Atlassian marketing initiatives, additional Atlassian product licenses, up to 500 users for any of our products, and direct access to an account manager. So to all of our top vendors, congratulations on your accomplishments. And this program isn't exclusive to a select number of vendors. Any vendor that generates over 2 million in app sales on our marketplace and which has their top app available in cloud on our marketplace can be a member of this program. Okay, last but not least, let's talk about customer trust. It really is the foundation of any healthy marketplace. Customers need to trust that the privacy preferences of their end users will be respected and that the security of their data will be maintained.
GDPR is the largest change in data privacy legislation that we've seen in the last 20 years. And data privacy legislation is not just happening in Europe. In the past 10 years, over 50 countries from around the globe have added new privacy and data protection laws. Last year, we worked hard to complete foundational work to make our products and practices compliant. But data privacy is not just about compliance. We believe it's fundamental for gaining customer trust and fostering collaboration. That's why this year we're making significant changes to the platform. These changes include the introduction of a new identity model that centralizes control of user profile information and provides cloud customers with new privacy control settings. If you're interested in learning more about how GDPR impacts you as a developer or Atlassian as a platform, Erica Fisher, head of privacy at Atlassian, is giving a talk on that topic later this afternoon.
And to improve our security stance, we're also taking these steps. Guidelines to our app vendors for incident management and response. We know that issues can happen, so it's critical that we work together with you, our app vendors, to resolve incidents as quickly as possible. That's why we're investing in this area. First, we're improving our own incident management processes to bring app vendors in the loop sooner when customers report issues to us. We're also adding new guidelines to help app vendors optimize their own incident management processes. Vendor guidelines for security and privacy. It's also equally important that we define guidelines in security and privacy so that we're all following best practices in these areas. For security, it includes things like secure coding practices and workstation and infrastructure security. And for privacy, it includes things like data retention practices and data encryption. For both of these, we'll be rolling out guidelines to all app vendors in the coming weeks. So to summarize, the reason we're all excited is because we're really just at the beginning of what Marketplace can be. The opportunities ahead are awesome, and we continue to invest in the Marketplace, in the experience for end users and admins, in the programs for you, our app vendors and partners, and in security and privacy. And this is going to help all of us to scale our collective business. Beyond Marketplace, we're also investing in both worlds of the ecosystem platform, in server and cloud. Let's now have Junie come up to talk about our investments in server and data center.
Thanks, Brendan. Good morning. I am so excited to be here to talk to you about our data center business and how we're scaling apps for data center. We made strong investments in our data center business this year, and I'm excited about where we're going in the future. So what I'm going to do is give you a quick summary of our journey, and then talk about some of the new investments that we're making so we can give our growing customers the apps that they need. Now, we launched our data center business about 4 years ago, and this was to meet the needs of our customers who were growing and required high availability for their mission-critical Atlassian applications. Since its inception, we've focused on building enterprise features and capabilities that meet the needs of our customers. And since we've launched, we've seen many of our server customers adopt data center. Now, I was fortunate enough this week to go to Summit and speak to a lot of these customers. And a theme that came out was growth and scale. Everyone's growing and everyone is scaling. So this made me a bit curious to think about scale and think about the size of some of our deployments. And one of the most interesting stats that popped out to me, Confluence, a single instance, 10 million pages. Think about that for a second. I thought about it for a little bit more. And I tried to visualize, what is 10 million pages? Like, what would that look like in a physical hard form? I went online, I did some math. Turns out that would be 2.5 times the height of this hotel. Massive, massive scale. So this type of scale and growth in general is the reason that our customers choose data center, and they have multi-clustered environments to ensure performance at scale. The marketplace is critical to these customers. Our server customers have approximately 8 apps, and our data center customers have about a third more. In fact, if you take a look at our data center customers, they have over 20,000 apps that are running on data center, and that number is growing. So now let's take a step back and take a look at how data center apps came to be. So now we launched this business about 4 years ago. It was our first internal architecture. This was really a new business strategy for us. As data center customers continue to grow, we continued to see an increase in demand for internal and marketplace developer applications designed to meet the unique needs of a data center deployment and really meet the needs of our enterprise customers. So now our server platform is very flexible, so it enables this type of development easily. So we saw an increase in the number of vendors creating apps that could run on data center environments. You could see these on the marketplace. They were found with a DC designation tag. As these apps were being built to meet demand, we really didn't have an official program or infrastructure in place to give you guys guidance on how to standardize the development of these apps across data center products. And without this, the apps took on many different forms. This resulted in an imperfect customer experience, where apps acted differently across multiple node deployments. They implemented different caching styles and node data sharing. Sometimes this meant that the apps didn't install properly, didn't do that well during upgrades, could have low performance, or maybe fail to start. The end impact on this is that the customer experience was not consistent. Users experienced outages, slow performance, or even worse, just an inconsistent experience between nodes and deployment. Our customers chose data center to help them scale and deliver a consistent experience, and this is not what we were delivering. So we needed to fix this. And that is why we have built the Data Center Apps Program. The Data Center Approved Apps Program has been introduced to bring our customer apps that have been tested in actual environments our customers are going to run them in. The new program brings together a technical deep dive into how the app uses different technologies within our products. The program also takes a look at how the app impacts the overall customer experience, testing for response times across user actions, and understanding the additional processing time that apps add to the standard actions of our products. We also take a look at how the app operates across multiple nodes, focused on maintaining consistency of our users and data experience as they move between nodes or share data with coworkers. With this program, we want these apps to be vendor tested and Atlassian approved. Now, the aim of this program, number one aim, is to give greater confidence to our customers deploying data center, that the apps that they depend on in their enterprise just don't continue to deliver on their functional needs and requirements, but are there for them for growth and performance as they scale. In doing so, we are confident that our customers are going to continue to depend and install their favorite marketplace apps in their data center deployments and feel confident doing this. Now, as you're building your apps, think about the scale and the size of our customers and how they're growing. So remember the 10 million pages? How about a couple million Jira issues? How would your app work for these customers? To help you think through this process, we created a submission process for your apps. This assesses a few areas. First, there's a technical review. This is essentially a deep dive into the way that the apps are built to ensure that caching, memory management, and security requirements meet the expectations of a data center customer. Next, we do a performance check-in in where you provide us a detailed analysis of the endpoints on the app, so we can assess the impact of the end user experience. Super important. This testing is a measurement of how the app performs in the host system performance. You run these performance tests with and without the app installed, and then you compare the results. And finally, testing for scale. We want to test the app response time, how it varies between a single node, 2-node, and 4-node cluster. And we want to ensure that we're maintaining proper performance. Now, we are launching this program now, but we're not done. As we continue to learn more about our customer environments and build better tooling, we plan to incorporate this into the program. I want to thank everyone here who has worked with us on this program and have already submitted their apps. Please give yourself a round of applause. I'm very proud and excited to say that many of our most popular apps are now available, data center approved. So we're making really strong investments in our data center product line, and we want to make sure that our customers continue to grow with us. And you are all such an important part of this equation. We are excited to continue to work with you to deliver enterprise-grade applications for our data center customers. So now, I'm going to switch gears, and we're going to talk about how we're scaling on cloud. And for that, I'd like to invite up Lucy and Diogo to the stage.
Thanks, Junie. Diogo and I are going to be talking to you today about improvements we've made to our developer platform over the past year. But before we get into announcing new features, I'd like to take this opportunity to talk to you about a pain point that our customers and your customers experience on a daily basis. Software products are rarely used in isolation of each other. Consider a day in the life of our user, Olivia. Every morning, she logs into Gmail to check her notifications from her other tools. A colleague has shared a Confluence page with her, which she needs to follow up on later, so she adds a card to her personal to-do list in Trello. She checks her Slack channels, which her team uses to communicate. A developer has shared a Jira ticket with her, asking if she can attach her InVision prototype. And throughout the day, Olivia interacts with many, many more tools. The number of specialized tools within the SaaS product market has exponentially grown over recent years, meaning the number of apps and products that we interact with daily has increased. While this means more targeted solutions for consumers and that end users have the power to select the solution that best suits their needs, this explosion within the SaaS product market does cause some user experience challenges. Some of those are stop, start, resume work. End users are forced to endure constant context switching between multiple tools in order to get a single task done. Friction when sharing work between multiple tools and with colleagues who may use different tools slows users down. Distributed content makes it hard to stay on top of teamwork, and the noise created by each tool creates for an overwhelming experience. And finally, while end users may have the power to select the tool that best suits them, they don't always have the admin permissions to integrate that tool with their work environment. We would like to share with you today our vision for solving this problem. We envision a world where there are personal integrations. I'd like to explain this using a proof of concept, an app that we developed in-house, Atlassian Cloud for Gmail. Here you can see Olivia has received an email from a colleague that includes a link to a Bitbucket pull request, a failing pipeline, and a Jira ticket. She can click on the Atlassian icon to open the Gmail app sidebar, where she can see more context for the items linked in the email. She can authorize Jira herself without the need for admin permission, and she can click into the issue to get even more detail. Olivia can even reply to a comment from within the context of Gmail. These kinds of personal integrations really help our customers stay on top of their teamwork. And as a side note, this Atlassian Cloud app is available on the Gmail marketplace for you to install and use today. Gmail is, yeah, let's clap for that. Gmail is just one example of this personal style of integration with an Atlassian product. Think of the tools that your customers use on a daily basis and the possibilities for streamlining their workflows with the Atlassian product suite. I'm sure you're wondering how we're enabling this technology. I'll hand over to Diogo.
Thank you, Lucy. All right, now for some geeky bits. We are super happy to announce that we're rolling out OAuth to support in our APIs. When you talk about OAuth, you may be talking about multiple different authorization flows. Just to name a few, there's the authorization code grant, there is the client code grant, there is the implicit grant, and a handful of others. For this vision of highly personalized apps, we are very interested in the authorization code grant. That's the first one that we're rolling out. This grant, this flow, is also called three-legged OAuth, or 3LO in good old Atlassian lingo. We love our acronyms. And it's called like that because it involves three major parties, three legs to that flow, to that dance. So it always starts with our user, Olivia, who goes into your app and says, you know what, I want to integrate it with Atlassian. Once she goes in there, what you do is you redirect into us, and we show her a consent screen. We ask her, hey, are you fine with this app getting integration into this bunch of Atlassian products? She says, yes, hopefully. What we do is we redirect back into you with now a token. And that token is the thing that you're going to use to do all the subsequent API calls into our APIs. Easy, right? It's fairly straightforward, at least as straightforward as authorization flows get. But there are a number of things that are worth highlighting. First, at the very heart of this flow, you have the concept of a consent screen. So this is what our users see. They see something that says your app is requiring access to these scopes. Those are the things you can do. The user also can see, as you can see, there's Olivia up there, also gets to choose where do those scopes apply. You can see there that she's chosen all sites. This is very important and goes hand in hand with stuff that Brandon talked about and Alex talked about end user empowerment and trust. And there's 3 points that are worth highlighting out of all this. First, this is an industry standard. You don't have to learn a new authorization flow. This is what pretty much everyone in the industry is doing. And more importantly, there are, no matter what stack of choice you have, there are libraries out there that will help you with this flow. Good, right? So next one is, this is a user impersonation flow. Unlike most of the authorization models that we use, in which your app behaves as itself, in this flow, your app is behaving on behalf of a user. We still know it's your app. There's a client ID in it that tells us, oh yeah, that's app A or B, but we know that this thing is on one single call being backed by Olivia's account or by Lucy's account or mine. And probably the most important thing, this is a user-led flow. Lucy mentioned that. It's not 4-legged OAuth. There's not 4 parts. There's no admin here. Admin controls still play a very important role in here because admins get to restrict a bit 3LO access. It's important so that admins can feel safe about what users can do. But this flow starts and finishes with an end user, meaning that you get lots of virality out of that.
But let's talk about how you, our developers, can use 3LO in your apps. We've been working on improving our developer portal experience. In app management, which you can find on developer.atlassian.com, you can create a new app to find your app's client credentials. You can enable APIs such as the Jira REST API and add developer features such as 3LO. You can configure 3LO from right within the UI, and we have some handy developer tools such as an authorization URL generator to make the development experience that much easier. When you're ready to distribute your apps to customers, you can do so from right within App Management via the Distribute tab. Now let's talk release timeframes. As of today, the authorization grant flow is available as a developer preview for Jira Cloud Platform. This means you can access App Management, create and build apps using 3LO, and test them yourselves. Very soon we will go GA, which at that point you'll be able to distribute those apps to external customers. We're planning to continue this work to the whole Jira Cloud family and to Confluence in the near future. At App Week Miami earlier this year, we asked you what we could do to better help you design your apps. We're proud to announce the release of a brand new GUI pack using popular design tool Sketch. In this Sketch pack, you'll find UI components for our cloud products and our patterns. You can use this pack to quickly mock up your app designs and be better aligned with our design language. Everything within the pack can also be found in Atlas Kit, so you'll have no problem converting your designs to code.
That's not all. We got a bunch of other goodies for you. First and foremost, we're introducing something called Atlassian document format. For those of you who interact with content in Confluence, you're using CX HTML. Those that are doing that in Jira are using wiki markup. Those doing that in Bitbucket are doing that using Markdown. The Atlassian document format is the new format that binds it all. It's the new form that's going to be used across our products, allowing you for consistent handling of content. It's not just that, it's a much more powerful format, sorry. It will allow you to express things that are not available in those other things, such as app mentions. We are also introducing cache diaphragms, allowing you to deliver your app in a much snappier way, much snappier end user experience. We are also rolling out a single shared secret. So you saw that screenshot by Lucy, you saw those credentials in there. You won't have to maintain different credentials, one per installation, one single thing, simplifying your dev flow. This has been rolled out to all apps that are listed in the marketplace, so yeah, it should already be available to you right now. Last but not least, something that's coming soon, we are introducing this concept of outbound auth. What does that mean is that this will allow you to integrate with 3LO solution, with other identity providers, 3LO as well. We will handle those tokens for you. So for example, if you're integrating an end user's Atlassian account with an end user's Google account, we'll handle those tokens. We'll provide you with the token that you need to do calls into us and into Google, so you don't have to be in the business of maintaining that and all the security details that that entails. So we think this has been a very exciting year, and we believe that we have a very exciting future ahead of us. So to hear a bit more about that, let's welcome Shri back on stage.
Thank you, Diego and Lucy. Go 3LO. If you should start imagining what you can build for end users. You've always built apps that are admin installed, so that's exciting. I want to spend some time on what's on my mind. Right? There are lots of things on my mind. For example, I woke up at 3 a.m. today. I'm staying at a hotel right across the street, and the power went off. It's completely dark. It's pouring outside. And then suddenly they started switching on the power, and 30 seconds later, it would all fall down. Sitting there thinking, wait, the hotel got DDoSed by the cloud, and the system caused incident, a F0. That's fine. But they're turning it on with no shards. They could have done floor by floor. These things are on my mind. But I'm going to focus on what's relevant for all of you. So 5 things I came up with that's relevant to the cloud ecosystem. First thing is you build it, you run it. Some context here. Historically, as developers, you write your code, you throw it over the wall, and the operations people somehow keep it running. But that's not the world in the cloud today. Operations is part of the development cycle. So each of you who write code also need to manage and maintain and operate the cloud environment. So if you write bad code, you're not sleeping. Right? I have a lot of experience with not sleeping, trust me. I've been running cloud for like last 10 years. And I have so many scars. If you want to know the incidents that I've gone through, you should talk to me after this. Lots of scars. I had this very specific tone on my phone that would wake me up, right, when there's a F0, F1, F2s. It was so powerful. When it went off, I would just jump out of the bed. So it's useful even today, because if I have to catch a flight at 3 a.m., that's what I use, that tone. And I'm not kidding. Atlassian recognized that it's important in the cloud to have this operations part integrated with the development environment. That's why this week we announced that we are buying OpsGenie. OpsGenie is a fantastic product for alerting and workflows. Many of you use alerting if you have a cloud product. we feel Opsgenie being part of our family would make us a lot more powerful. And that's not all. We also announced another new product called Jira Ops. Jira Ops is an incident management tracking tool. It's an end-to-end tool that integrates Opsgenie, Status Page, and a number of other tools. Status Page is our communication mechanism to customers and also internal staff. Integrating end-to-end would make the incident management process smoother and help us give a much better reliability for our customers. We have learned a lot in the last few years, having gone through massive changes in the cloud. With that in mind, we have open sourced our incident playbook with a number of workflows that we have internally. You can go check it out at atlassian.com/ops. I also encourage you to check out the products so you can use it with our incident process. That was number one. Second is performance and scale. I'm super excited to announce our Jira and Cloud platform can scale up to 5,000 users now. If you guys know, we used to have this 2,000 limit before, and we didn't have large customers beyond that. And we have raised the limit to 5,000, and it's only a starting point, and we'll only keep increasing it further. What this means is we'll have large customers on the cloud. So you need to be thinking about how your apps will scale in the cloud. To get to 5,000 and beyond, we had to do a lot of work behind the scenes. In the last 2 years, we had 2 years ago, I guess, we had a single tenanted instance. We used to run one per customer, lots and lots of it in production. You can imagine the pain that has if something fails during deployment and rollbacks. I see some smiles. We moved to AWS natively and made it multi-tenanted to be just like any other normal SaaS offering. And also, I guess we are on the journey towards microservices. We've created a bunch of microservices, not all the way there, but starting to go down that path. The other aspect of this is also having presence in every location, like the data centers. We started with US East and West. We added Ireland last year. I'm happy to announce that in the next few weeks, we'll be adding Sydney. And in the upcoming year, we'll be adding a couple more, Singapore and Frankfurt. What this allows us to do is to scale our platform and to make sure that we provide high scale and performance to all our customers. This also means that, and if you look at the broad spectrum of things that we did, there is scale and there's performance. Right? You need to operate, have better performance at that high scale. And when you break down the problem, there's actually different kinds of work that happens when you think about scale and performance. Scale, we had to do a lot of work on the back end and optimizing the databases, making sure that the JQL and CQL work really fast because it's pretty complicated back end. Right? There's lots of work that happens in the back end. And the performance is a lot about the UI and how we optimize for that. So to measure the end user customer performance, we defined this new metrics called performance index. We base it on this industry standard called Aptex, and you can look that up. And we measure basically how happy is a customer based on certain thresholds, and we measure it consistently across all our products. And I'm super happy to say that we have improved performance both on Jira and Confluence, 25% on Jira and 20% on Confluence in the last year. Right? That took a lot of work. And in fact, for the view pages, if you just see the view pages, the read-only pages, that's even more because of the data centers and caching and a whole bunch of work that we did. It's 40% for Jira and 50% for Confluence. I need you to start thinking that if your apps are used at a higher scale, think 10x, which is how we design internally, how would your apps perform? And there's a number of things that we need to do to make sure that you can actually leverage the data centers that we have. That's something that we'll be working with you. For example, if you have an app running in a certain place, you don't know where we are serving our customers across in the world. That's something that we'll address as we do, but there's a whole lot more that you can do even without that. So I encourage you to start thinking performance and scale. Third is change. You hear this a lot. Change is constant. There's always change everywhere. I say change is not constant. It's actually accelerating. Change is increasing. Like there's so much innovation happening and new libraries coming and new platforms coming. There's new go-to-market strategies. The world is moving at a faster and faster pace. That's important for you as you think about what kinds of apps you build and how you compete in the market. We have had that experience in the last 2 years. Let me give you a very specific example. We have had HipChat for a long time. And HipChat was doing great, but then we hit some scalability issues with HipChat, and we also wanted to reimagine how HipChat should be in the next gen. So we designed and developed Stride from ground up. 2 years later, we recognized that the market had completely changed. And we looked at, when we started, it wasn't like that. Right? Towards the end, we figured out that the best approach for the market is actually not to build that product, but to partner. So you might have seen the announcement that we did with Slack, to partner with Slack. I know some of you had worked on the early access APIs for Stride. Thank you for being part of the early access program, and I know changes are always hard. But one thing I can tell you, that this decision, even though it's really hard for a company to make a hard decision after having invested for 2 years, it's the right thing for the company, for our customers, and also for the ecosystem. So thank you for supporting us for this and also for the rest of the ecosystem. Just goes to show that the change is accelerating and something, especially in cloud, that you need to be worrying about. Cloud is the long game. Cloud is important in terms of how the trajectory is. If you look at the arc of cloud, we are in the early stages of cloud at Atlassian, and also for this community. You already know this. We are investing big on cloud. Right? We look at this as a huge investment that will pay us off in the longer term. Right? You have seen stats from the public cloud providers. They show that there's a very small percentage who are already on cloud, and there's a secular trend happening. And we want to make sure that we leverage and ride that tide. And the ask for you is, you need to start thinking how you can imagine and build your app so that you can ride along with us. There's this example of success story here. Zephyr. Zephyr is a test management tool, and they've done extremely well on the server. I was here 2 years ago on stage talking about how Zephyr is starting to invest in cloud. At that point, they were starting to invest, they were ready to double down on it, and I'm happy to say their cloud business is now equivalent to their server business. Huge, right? Congratulations to Zephyr for making this happen. And this goes to show the opportunity that exists in cloud that you all need to leverage. All right. Number 5, innovation pace. In Atlassian, I personally, and also as a company, we pay a lot of interest and effort on innovation. We do ship it. In fact, last few days we had a ship it live running in the user conference that we just did, Summit. And we do innovation weeks and make sure that we reimagine all the things that we do, right? And that's something that's important for you. When you have an app on the server, you should also think about what does it mean just running on the cloud? Because there's some things that's possible, there are some things that can't. But also, what does it mean by thinking natively on cloud? We do that all the time. In fact, we are reimagining our APIs. Right? Our REST APIs have taken us so far. We've built a huge ecosystem based on the API, but we are challenging how the APIs need to be built. And we have a big vision. Our vision includes cross-product. That means the same API can work across our products. Consistent, so when you learn on one product, the same semantics works across multiple products. And efficient, so that at scale, you don't have to do multiple trips and works much better. So I'm happy to say that we are embarking on a brand new initiative called GraphQL API Initiative at Atlassian. How many of you here have used GraphQL or know about GraphQL? Some of you. GraphQL is an API language. Services define a schema, and there's an easy-to-interact tool for the clients, a contract. And let me give you some examples on exactly what this means. Here's an example of Confluence request. It's giving a page ID. The request is asking, get me the title, create a display name, and space title. As you know, Confluence has a whole number of more attributes, but the client is only asking for those 3. The beauty of the API is what you ask is exactly what you get. Here's a response. As you can expect, it has those 3 things, and this prevented you from getting a whole number of things and figuring out which ones you need and which ones you don't. And as you build your APIs, you can ask for more things along the way. That's pretty flexible. The other thing is the same semantics, like display name, attributes that you saw, display name, would also work on Jira, for example. And if you have it in the same request, you don't have to make multiple trips. Let's look at an example. Here's the same Confluence page ID request with the same attributes for Confluence, but it's also asking for linked issues. Those are Jira issues. That's a different product. And it's asking for title and display name. And you can ask for more things. And this is one request that you make to the server, and you get back a response with all the things that you need. And it prevents your N+1 problem to go back to the server a number of times. And it's efficient on the server side for Atlassian, and it's also a lot faster for you on the clients. So that's amazing. We are internally starting to prototype, and we have a prototype that we can showcase in the App Week that's coming up. Many of you might know App Week is a group that we bring together every quarter where we talk about code and we help you build the code. We have lots of Atlassian developers in the program. So I encourage you, if you haven't been to a App Week, check out the URL. And in this App Week, we'll also showcase the GraphQL API. And if you're not going to the App Week, we still want to hear from you because it's early stages, and we want to make sure that we build the API that's right for the ecosystem. So feel free to send us and talk to us after this. Great. We talked a lot today. We covered a whole bunch of ground. We talked about how we are scaling Marketplace. We also talked about data center programs. We talked about how we are innovating on cloud. And 5 things on my cloudy mind. I was there in the ecosystem council a few days ago, and we had a group of few developers come in and talk to us a bunch of requests. And and I and a bunch of my teammates have made a whole bunch of notes. And the promise, I guess, from the Atlassian side is we understand what we need, and we'll be proactive in making sure that we have the roadmaps more clear for you so that you can plan for your apps to be built, and also include you more in terms of how we build and what we build. So that's a promise from Atlassian to make sure that we can keep growing the ecosystem. All right. I have one more thing for you. What's happening? That's great, thank you. Here's what I did. To celebrate this developer community, I wrote a poem. You know, when you write a poem and you want to present it in front of hundreds of people, you know the feeling that you get? I'll tell you because you can recognize this. You write your code, you haven't written your test cases, and you're checking into production. That's how I feel. All right, let's do this. This is a geeky poem. Are you ready? Yes. All right. One app, two app, red app, blue app. Who likes Dr. Seuss? Yeah. Server app, cloud app, old app, new app. Plugins, add-ons, integrations galore, but I call them all apps. They're all apps at their core. This app listing has 4 little stars. That apps repo has a bunch of PRs. Say, what a lot of apps there are. Yes, some are fast and some are slow. Some are small and some are huge. Some are free and some are paid. Some are very, very custom made. Why are they free, paid, and custom made? For so many reasons. That's quite an array. Right, you're getting it. Apps for Jira, Bitbucket, and Confluence too. And don't forget Fisheye, Crucible, and Bamboo. Where's P1? I don't know. Ask Scott or Mike. But now there's P2 that developers really like. First there was SOAP. Now we have REST. Tomorrow we'll say GraphQL is the best. JQL, CQL, I think we need more. BBQL, it's better than yours. Auth basic, auth cookies, no, please no. It's better with OAuth and 3LO. There are words that swear, there are words that scare. No matter where you are, nothing beats GDPR. From there to here, from here to there, apps are everywhere. Say, look at Atlassian. 1, 2, 3, how many developers do I see? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, I see hundreds. This is something special. Oh, the things you'll build, there's so much opportunity. Thank you, all of you, our developer community. Thank you.